Yeah, brother, how you doing?
Yeah, it's good to see you. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Doing good. You all right?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you for doing this, man. We appreciate the time. I know it's an important day for you. I know, so we
Yeah, it
appreciate you doing
is. It's a good day. That's all good, man. This is what we do.
this. The wonders of technology. We get to keep in touch in the strangest of times.
I know. I know.
Um,
What time
uh,
is it in
my
your neck of
time.
the woods?
It is 3 p.m. in the afternoon. It's a bright sunny
Oh,
day today in England, which is good.
oh,
So
good. We miss England. My wife loves coming with us, and so but we've been pretty much every year for the last 4 or 5 years. So we'll just have to double up,
yeah,
coming up.
yeah. So how's this kind of whole quarantine period been for you? Because I know leading up to the release of an EP, it's not an ideal situation, but how have you kind of adapted to it all?
I got to sneeze. Now we can go. All right. So for me, I have an injury. I got injured in August of 2000, and 19. I had the hemorrhagic stroke just due to the AVM, and it just kind of compounded on top of the injury. So I had kind of been in quarantine for 6 months anyway. So I was ready to get going and ready to get back out on stage. We had been rehearsing for the live show and had a couple of fairs and festivals and headlining shows booked. And so then, you know, we started hearing of the coronavirus, and I'd been kind of tracking it in China for a little while, so I knew what was going on, knew what it was. But it's been, to answer your question, it's been as good as it can be. We live about 15 minutes north of Nashville, um, and have a small farm. It's about 15 acres. And we've just been doing stuff out there. I've been doing the Wednesday night therapy stuff. I've been writing a lot via Zoom. And, I've been working with Jaron and just working on this music, getting it out. So that was my mindset from the get go, is just, I'm going to get busy and use the downtime to spend with my wife and get closer spiritually to everything and everybody, and just keep it rocking, man. I mean, there's
Yeah,
nothing that's going to slow us down now after that injury. I mean, I just learned you better live it. I was doing pretty good before before the injury, with my mindset as far as living each day to the fullest. But that injury really put it in another perspective, that, man, you better write and sing and have a good time and choose joy every day.
yeah. Well, how are you doing health wise now? Because I know when it all kind of came out in the news, we were all very worried about you. So, how are you actually doing now? Are you back to 100%?
Yeah. Um, I'm not back to 100% yet. I've got uh, some physical things that I'm working through in my left hand and left leg and foot. But the good news is there's no permanent damage to my brain that was caused by the bleed, and there's no permanent damage to my to so all this should come back, all my hand and my foot and everything. But I mean, I'm walking around, I'm doing stuff out in the yard. I spread a bunch of pine straw out in the yard yesterday, and I'm mowing the grass and out and about and walking around with a cool cane, and it's I would say I'm probably 70-75%. I'm working out, I'm doing the Peloton, you know I'm on it 3 or 4 or 5 times a week. So it's good, man. It's just a grind. You got to get in there and grind, and I'm trying to just write everything down that comes to my head, and just use it for a positive, use it for people that are going through something and may need a little bit of encouragement. That's my mindset.
Yeah, and it's been really cool, like you mentioned, with the Wednesday night sessions, to see how you've kind of kept that contact going with the fans, and it's almost kind of made you closer than you ever were before, which is really nice. And have you kind of enjoyed the process of doing this whole thing independently and having that close connection with the fans on a weekly basis?
Yeah, yeah, I have. The the fans, I can't say enough about. um their support. And really, man, I mean, from letters, from like handwritten letters to online, just notes. I've read a bunch of stuff. I've read all of it, and gifts, and just people coming together and helping us pay some bills. Everybody thinks, heck, that if you're in the music business and you've got some songs on the radio that you've got plenty of money. Well, we were comfortable, but it was like nobody's prepared for a 6-month, the rug being pulled out from under you for 6 months. And we've just got so many blessings from people, random people, and just planned out, the Opry Trust Fund. I'm not just talking financial. I'm talking prayers. I'm talking help with my physical therapy. And it's been unbelievable too, to carry the mindset over to the live streams on Wednesday night, and just committing myself to that. Like every Wednesday night, we're going to do this in my barn at Whitewood Hollow, and we're going to turn it into something, and we're going to release an EP off of it, and then we're going to make an album off of it, and then we're going to continue touring and get out there, and people are really going to get to see how music truly heals my left side, because I refuse to stop. I refuse to quit. I need that music and need that live performance to get out there and heal quicker, because we got things to do.
Absolutely. And you mentioned working with John Johnston on the new EP, which must have been an amazing experience, because I know how good Jaron is as a performer, as a writer, as a producer. He's just a beast of a man. So tell us what it was like to work with him on a full project.
Yeah. Well, me and JJ have known each other for probably going on 15 years, and we've wrote, we drank beer and hung out together, and he's an incredible person. He's got a great family. Evan's awesome. His son's practically a professional drummer already at 2 years old. So it was kind of one of those things where we talked about the band, talked about what we wanted to cut, and it was really freeing, because the independence of, I wanted to start with the fan. I've always started with the fan and worked backwards. And I feel like I've got my thumb on the pulse of the fan and what they want. And that was really my focus. And I told Jaron that. And us getting back to the, the platform that we were at, and it's never been my goal, like getting back. I want to catapult off of that platform and keep going forward, keep going up. So Jaron, it was like, you don't really know the shelter of a good friend until you get in there in the studio with him. You don't really have to talk. He's watched my career. I've watched his career. He knows what I'm going for. He knows what I love, and he knows what that Alabama sauce, when I say that, he knows what it means. He knows what the funk, soul, guitar lick means, and the tones that I'm just speaking about. So it was a lot of fun. It was laid back, and there was a lot of the conversation that goes into other projects didn't really have to happen, because we've been friends for so long. So it was just really comfortable. And I always approach every project of mine like a co-producer. I mean, I'm the guy out there putting it out, and from an artist standpoint, I've always considered myself an artist, a writer, and a producer of all kind of things, from t-shirt design to music to the videos and everything. So it was just really comfortable, really laid back, and the band was rocking. So we just kind of, we cut these in May of 2019 with intentions of getting them out in fall of 2019, and the injury happened. So that's why it's been, a year since people have heard from me. So this is it, man. I'm very, very proud. This is my favorite batch of songs that I've ever cut, for sure.
Yeah. What I thought would be really cool to do actually is kind of do a track by track roundup of
Yeah,
every song. So I'll ask you a question on each one. Um, and the EP starts with Lucky's Man, and I kind of love that kind of laid
do you
back
love it?
country soul groove. It's a great song. So, and you can feel Jaron's influence in that one straight away. It's got that kind of filthy, raw guitar feel to it. So tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about working on that one and how it came together.
Luckiest Man was the song that made me a little, in a good way, made me a little uncomfortable. It was that song that I've never done before, that I've never recorded. I've never really recorded anything like that, but it had this kind of freestyle, almost like Citizen Cope, kind of Bob Marley feel to it. I'm not saying it sounded exactly like those artists. It just had this kind of Jack Johnston-y type of low. My voice was real low the whole time, and I never really expanded and exploded until the very end. But this whole project, we kept using the term cosmic cowboy, and we kept using the term, kind of psychedelic country, freestyle country, and just getting into that, sinking into that, not trying to put it into like it doesn't have to be perfect verse, chorus, and sound pristine and everything like that. And what's got to sound pristine, but it didn't have to sound polished. And the Luckiest Man was just, it took the groove just right off the bat. It hit, and it kind of bubbled. It sounds like it's bubbling, and it sounds like it's just kind of you're flying through the clouds a little bit. And like I've said, I think it'll be people's girlfriends and their girls' favorite song. I think it'll be one of those tunes that sneaks up on you. And you gotta, I think the first time I heard the recording and we really started sinking into the production of it, this song grows on you, is what I'm saying. It's one of those tunes that the second time you listen to it, third and fourth time, you're going to like it more and more and more, because it's just it's kind of a state of mind type of song. I love it.
Yeah. And then we've got Mixing with Whiskey, which is, along with Lucky's Man, it's one of two songs that you didn't actually have a hand in writing on the EP. So what's kind of the criteria when you're looking for outside songs to put on a Drake White project, and why was Mixing with Whiskey a good fit for that?
Yeah. Well, I love Adam Hambrick. I love all the guys on this song that wrote on it. But the criteria is I have to feel like it's a part of me. Like maybe not the first time I hear it, but I have to feel like it's a part of my culture. Like it's a part of my fans' culture, and that we could sneak it in our set any given night and nobody would be like, huh, that it's already so much of a part of the culture just because of the spirit in which it came from, that I can just slide it in there and everybody be like, well, it's new, I know, but it already feels like it's 10 years old, in a good way. The Mixing with Whiskey is my favorite song on the EP. Like I said, we cut it back in May. Nashville is a very, very competitive place. The injury happened. I know there's an artist that's cut that song, and I just said, no, I'm not going to take it off the EP. I want to keep it on there because I think me and Jaron touch magic on this track. There's magic on all throughout the EP, but this one to me really stands out as far as like single worthy, as far as being out there and being, just really being an amazing song and an amazing track. It's just gather around the fire and I can smell a fire burning when I listen to it. It's thick and oaky and soulful, and Muscle Shoals meets Nashville, but yet that guitar is just so sassy and carries you through it. And it's a party. You can hear Jaron literally partying in the background. He's literally, that's what he's doing. There's glasses clanging and people having a good time. And good whiskey is about craftsmanship, and it's about camaraderie. And that's what a good record's about. That's what good music's about. So you mix those two together, you get mixing with whiskey.
And then we've got Eat, Drink and Dream. Now, I was watching your live stream the other day, and you gave this kind of really passionate speech about Eat, Drink and Dream, because it's so personal to you, and it's kind of one for the dreamers out there. So
yeah, I mean, man, this Eat, Drink and Dream is what I've it's about hope and passion and seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, no matter what deck of cards that you get, dealt you. You got to use what you've got. You got to go out there and use your passion, use your momentum, or else you're just kind of living to watch this, you're just living day to day. And I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to tolerate it. So Eat, Drink, and Dream is that battle cry for the relentless optimist, for the person out there that is facing, cancer, or facing a loved one that's passed on, or, a dog, a golden retriever that's getting 14, 15 years old that may have passed on. It's for those people out there that are playing sports, that are driving, that are pushing. Eat, Drink, and Dream, man. Go to London and check out the streets. If you're from a small podunk town in Alabama, not calling Hokes Buff podunk. I'm just saying, go see the pyramids. Go to New Zealand and hitchhike around the South Island. Go surfing. Go figure out what it feels like to jump out of a hot air balloon. That's Eat, Drink, and Dream. And I'm just LIVIN, man. Just everybody just keep living and keep grinding and keep pushing. And that's the message in Eat, Drink, and Dream. I love that line. Imagination is like a telepathic way into your future. You can be a passenger, you can be a chooser. I believe that your imagination is God's way of telling you the future. And so that's what that line means. If you can imagine it, then that's the truth for me. And I can see myself singing this to 30,000 people in a sold out arena. So it's going to happen. That's my mindset. That's what I believe. So that's what's true.
Yeah, that's cool. And then we've got my favorite band. Now, this one for me is going to be a huge fan favorite. I think this is going to go down so well live. It's a banger, basically. So tell us a little bit about that.
It is a banger for sure. The idea, I got this idea from a friend of mine. We were playing golf, and we were discussing our favorite bands. And man, that bathtub is very, very deep. It's like the ocean. It's not like a bathtub. For me, I mean, it can go all over the place, from John Prine to Marshall Tucker Band to the Allman Brothers, back to Joe Cocker, to Janis Joplin, to Keith Whitley and Merle Haggard. And it really, everybody's like, man, it must have took a lot of time. There's 18 mentioned artists in the song. But we were golfing, and he goes, out of all my favorite bands, I think he'd had just enough to drink to where this didn't sound cheesy. But he was like, out of all my favorite bands, and he held his hand up, he said, this is my favorite band. My wife is my muse. And I was like, man, it just hit me. And I got my phone out and wrote down my favorite band. And in parentheses, I put wedding band. And so to twist that right there at the end and hear Jaron go, ooh, like, whoa, that I think it was like just a big surprise and a big plot twist to the song. And it sounds like you're free and you're going and you're just rocking, you're banging. And then something like that says, well, this dude that likes to party and likes to hang out and likes to go listen to all these bands, he's actually a softy at heart, and he's got his woman, he's got his love, the love of his life, and his favorite band's his wedding band. I just thought it was really cool, really witty, and the co-writers of all this stuff, man, Dan Fernandez is awesome, and all the other guys. Ross is hitting the scene really big, and love his music, and didn't even know Ross when we went in and wrote this. We just wrote it, and man, it turned out great. Jaron did a great job.
And then finally, we've got my personal favorite on the EP, All Will Be Right with the World. And on your live stream the other day, you were saying how that song's been around for a long, long time. You always wanted to get it out, even as a single at some point, but obviously kind of ran into some problems with the label there, I'm guessing. But tell
Yeah.
us a little bit about the frustration with that one and why it's taken so long.
Yeah, it wasn't really, I refuse to say problems with the label. It's just challenges. You go out there and you fight for the songs you believe in. You fight for the ideas that you believe in. And me and Tommy Cecil and Matt Alderman wrote this song probably 3.5 years ago. And we had a song called Free, another Free. I know I've got back to Free, but we had a song that we really thought was the heart of this project as far as, single wise. And like I said, going down in August, Nashville's extremely competitive, and the publishers pitched it to a new artist, and he cut it, and it's not out yet. But that song, we were unable to put it out, and so Jaron goes, well, what do you want to add? What do you want to put out there for the fifth song? In my head, you could get bummed about that if you wanted to, and you can start thinking about why it happened. Man, this song's so good, and it could be what breaks me out of, everything. Or you could go, well, God's working in this, and let me think about what direction I need to go and choose the song that my fans are going to love and put on there. And so I threw Jaron 4 or 5 songs, but I'll Be Right With the World was in there, and the demo was in there. And Jaron listened to the demo, and I've always loved the demo that Tommy Cecil cut a long time ago. And I'm like beatboxing in it. I'm like in the demo. I'll release the demo one day. But Jaron was like, man, it literally, the lyrics sound like you're on your back porch. I've got a great back porch that I spend 90% of my time on.
Yeah.
And he goes, the lyric sounds like you're literally on a back porch. I want to make it like that. And so we're quarantined at this point, dude. And I send all the files over to Jaron, and Jaron comes back with this sound, and then the crickets are in tempo, in the background, in the fire burning. That is a fire, literally a fire burning in the background.
Wow.
So everything's kind of in tempo, and it puts you to a spot in your mind that, and I've got to talk about that as well. I'll Be Right With the World was written on the stance that, like, when you're going through something, if you can go to your place that brings you joy, your happy place, your spot in the world, or it could be a person, or it could be a thing. This was my utopia, my heaven. This is what my heaven looked like. My old golden retriever, my old Bronco was running. Ryder could live to be 100. And it was one of those things that just fell out. But I know I'm jumping all over the place, but to go there is to listen to this song, and the back porch vibe came out, and it wasn't perfect. It wasn't, it was exactly what I wanted. It was like, it made me feel like I was in that heaven. And Jaron did a great job of just stripping it down. It's a very easy track to listen to. And it's one of my favorites as well. I've got 5 favorites on these. They're all very special to me just because of what we've been through to get them out. But man, we've got a lot planned for the fans out there, and it's my prerogative to release 20 songs in 2020. And I know we got to get on it, but I've got them in the can, and we're working on releasing some of the old stuff, like 50 Years Too Late, and Gypsy, and all those songs, because those have been set on a shelf for 8-9 years.
Yeah.
And people need to hear them. Those songs are very dear to me. So Stars was named Stars because I've worked with so many awesome people, from Jaron to Jeremy Stover to Busby to, everybody in town that I'm going to call these different stars. The stars represent songs, right?
Yeah.
And the different projects represents constellation. That's why you got the cover you got. So, and the good thing about stars and constellations, there's billions of them, so you can't ever run out of songs. I feel like I literally could never run out of songs. We've got songs stacked up because we've been trying to thread this needle for so long of country radio and trying to get something that pops at country radio. And we've had some great success, and I believe that we're going to have more success at country radio here in the States. And BBC's definitely crushing it for us right now with All Be Right with the World. But, you know, trying to fit songs and art into this thread the needle, as they say, you would think that would be hard. Like, I'm about to say something negative, but it's not. It's just made me write a ton of songs and really get down my craft of writing and meet a ton of great people. And my path has been, 10, 12 years grinded out, and keep songs coming, keep great songs coming. And I'm as excited now about our future and what's the future for the culture of the Big Fire fans and the music as I've ever been. It's time to go. It's time to light the fire and kick the tires, as we say here in Tennessee. It's a joy, man. I'm excited. It's like Christmas.
Well, Joe, best of luck with the EP, but it's been a pleasure to chat with you as always, and we appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.
And
thank you very much.
Come and see us soon once all this rubbish is over.
Oh yeah, I'll be over there as soon as I can.